Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the third video for providing the basic aid that any layman or any common person can give in case of emergencies and in case the medical staff or an hospital is not nearby. So we were going through some basic instructions for cuts and scrapes, some steps that can help us to guide ourselves or guide the other person in case they suffered an injury that led to a cut or scrape. So we were done with the 4 steps that are stop the bleeding, cleaning the wound, applying an antibiotic, covering the wound. Now the fourth is change the dressing. Change the dressing at least daily or whenever it becomes wet or dirty. So as we know that we're often performing tasks at home, and in case our cut has a dressing, has a bandage or a cloth over it, and it gets wet or dirty, we have to immediately change it, or else even if it's not dirty, even if we haven't performed any task, we should properly keep a check on our dressing so that we can change it before it gets too dirty or too messy. If you are allergic to the adhesive used in most bandages, switch to adhesive-free dressings or sterile gauze held in place with paper tape. So we often know that often the bandages come with some sticky adhesives that help us to stick the bandage to our skin. So in case those adhesives cause rashes or cause irritation or cause some serious infection, we can use adhesive free dressings. Now there might be a question that if we're using adhesive free dressings, how can we hold them in place? So we can hold them in place with a paper tape, gauze roll, or a loosely applied elastic bandage. So these things are often used to hold a adhesive free dressing together so that we may not need necessarily the adhesive ones that are very dangerous or that are not beneficial for us. The adhesive they has that may not be very healthy for us. These supplies generally uh, these supplies generally are available at pharmacies. So even at medical stores and pharmacies, we can easily get bandages or adhesive free bandages, paper tapes, adhesive free dressings, gauze roll, elastic bands, etc. Watch for signs of infection. That is the fifth and the final step for cuts and scrapes. See your doctor if the wound is not healing or you notice any redness. So, in case that you performed all these steps and yet you're still observing that there is no progress in recovery, or the wound isn't closing up, or there's infection forming around it, or it's getting more severe, more redder, we need to contact a medical professional such as a doctor immediately. Increasing pain, drainage, warmth, or swelling. So in case there's any redness, increasing pain, meaning that if there's a cut and it constant at the place of the cut, it keeps constantly being in pain, and we cannot reveal ourselves to that pain, we should contact a medical professional. Drainage means even if there's a lot of loss of blood or the blood keeps oozing out and you can stop it. Warmth or swelling, or if the specific part or wound keeps heating up or there's a lot of swelling that just doesn't stop. So these are some signs that you need to look out even if you've done all the steps very rightfully and the wound is still getting worse, then you immediately need to contact a doctor. So for cuts and scrapes, we are done with the 5 steps that were stopping the bleeding, using a clean cloth and applying pressure, cleaning the wound with water and avoid using soap, apply an antibiotic, any cream or ointment we can use to keep our wound clean, and it helps with the process of healing by helping our body cover the wound, covering it with a bandage, change the dressing using adhesive free dressings if you're allergic. And then next, the last one was watching for the signs of infection. So through these 5 steps, we can any person who is aware of these steps can give a medical aid or first aid for cuts and scrapes.